Hi. Hello, listeners and our viewers around the world, Liberia, in West Africa, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ivory Coast. Yeah, we're receiving word that people are following the melting pot in the Ivory Coast, in Guinea, in Sierra Leone, and in Ghana. So you are welcome, LIB, Liberia, you are welcome. If you just joining us, please share this show. There's a lot going on in Liberia we have to talk about. And people reach out to me and say, "Look, Dad, what's your view on the happiness in Liberia? What's going on? What's your idea? What do you think about things that are going on in Liberia?" And yeah, we are here to share our views and our opinions on the matters on happiness in Liberia. If you're just joining us, please share this show. This is the melting pot. Every Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, we come on to discuss matters pertaining to Liberia. We discuss issues as to what's going on in our country and how we can be a part of the talking point. So please share this show if you can. Please share this show and invite someone to join us. Please share this show and invite someone to join us. This is the melting pot. I'm your host, Clarence R. Pearson, and I do have a co-host, Dr. Emmanuel Deke, who is at work right now, cannot be here. But if he comes home from work early, he probably might join us. All right, let us talk about Liberia. Let us talk about what's happening in Liberia. If you just joining us, please share this show and share the show. If you view us on YouTube, we say please hit that button that say subscribe. Okay, hit that button that says subscribe. Currently I'm already sharing this show. Please join us and share this show. All right, join us and share the show. Was when you come in your tower market, will apply your eye, will pepper you, Papa sing will whistle on you. You got to fellow with a no say in their country. Yeah, that's it. I got rescue and I want to kill us. I get it there. So security, they give me a police, they give me a rubber center police, they give me get all awareness there. For now until the 7th, they will see you on the street. That's why you don't get nobody job for anything. And now on the street, the people from the federal office they can come power. So I want people making it. Yeah, and I blessing will not be not getting market. I am on the street and I'm market or say probably in the general market. Sell a rubber for them. I want to cry America. They sell it on the street. Africa they sell it on the street. And then that rubber. Why they improve that they want to suppress up on the street? This case will happen again. So I supported Joseph Baraka, knowing that by 2023 you'll retire. Okay. Knowing that 2023 you'll retire, you will have a good heart, a good everything good, but the brain is going down. You're not holding it and you're moving down the hill. This is nature. My father, right now, I buy in paper. Every day I buy paper. People never bought a paper before. Mm-hmm. I'm buying paper now because time has finished. So I thought the owner could be president in 2017 and run for this. And he says everything when you run for one term. He says everything. I agree with you. Ego, you are happy now. I beg you, I am happy. Or leave it. You know that Stevie, I don't see. I'm a friend premier. I'm not a player. I'm a player, but help me now. You want me from all of this? I don't see you know. So security, they give me a police, they give me a rubber center police, they give me get all awareness there. For now until the 7th, they will see you on the street. That's why you don't get nobody job for anything. And now on the street, the people from the federal office they can come power. So I want people making it. Yeah, and I blessing will not be not getting market. I am on the street and I'm market or say probably in the general market. Sell a rubber for them. I want to cry America. They sell on the street. Africa they sell on the street. And then that rubber. Why they So the oh my God point there, the oh my God point. All over the world, you go that people selling in the street. Then I like very can sell on the street. That people can take the money from to pay our children's school fees. All right, so that's going to our talking point for the day. We have a couple of talking points for the day. If you just join us, this is the melting pot. It's 3 times a week when we come together as Liberians to discuss matters happening in Liberia. And the reason we have these conversations are because everybody has to be involved in the conversation in Liberia. And the more we talk about what's going on in our country, the better it is for our country. We are able to see what's going on in our country, and we are able to help our country and to see how we can move our country forward. So if you just joining us, we want to say welcome to the melting pot, and please share this live, and we hope that we can have a nice conversation together today. All right, so let us go into our talking point. If you have any comment or contribution, just tap it in there. It will come up on my screen, and if I can share it or I can comment on it. So the talking points we have tonight, the first talking point we want to have tonight is the one that had to do with President Boyka accepts a former minister Modat's resignation. So we heard that the former commerce minister, Minister for Commerce and Industry, Minister Amin Modat, the former minister, it turns in his resignation. And the thing about his resignation is that the president received his resignation. Let us have a conversation about that. It is in fact, it is trending in Liberia right now as we speak. Welcome, Kowe. Kowan, thank you for joining us. Please share the show. And then the conversation now is that now that the president has accepted Amin Modad resignation, the question here is what do we think about it? People reach out to me and they say, what do you think about the whole issue about the president accepting the resignation of Amin Modad? And for political reason, what is my political take on this, right? People asking me, they say, but Dad, what's your idea about this whole Amin Modad thing? So when you read the president's response to Amin Modad's letter of resignation, when you read the president's response to Amin Modad's resignation, there are two things that come up for discussion. Number one, who is Amin Modad? Is Amin Modad? Amin Modad is someone I followed over the years. He's a calm guy. He's a cool guy. He's a very successful businessman, Liberian businessman. I do hear sometimes people argue, oh, the man is not a Liberian. No, Amin Modad is a Liberian. And I don't question that. I don't even bring that up for debate. And people who try to bring the kind of conversation up, I don't entertain it. And for the fact that, listen, the man is a Liberian. The man, whether the man father is a Lebanese and the man mother is a Liberian, the man is a Liberian. All right, we cannot bypass that. Okay, we have to accept the fact for what it is. It is. But the two things that come to mind when we are discussing the Amin Modad thing, Liberians need to understand this. When things are happening in the country, we all got to be part of this conversation. And it's good for you to listen to diverse opinions and views on the matter so that you can be informed about your country happening. So when people reach out to me and say, listen, Dad, what is your view on the Amin Modad business? So I got two things about the Amin Modad issue. One, is Amin Modad fully responsible? Is he the one mainly fully responsible for what happens that led to a resignation? And number two, was President Boyka respond? Was President Boyka respond in his letter accepting Amin Modad? Was it fair to Amin Modad, or whatever he's expressed in the letter that he published on the website of the executive mansion, even on the Facebook page? Is President Boyka honest with this guy? And this is my take on it, right? As Liberians, thank you for coming on Kula. Please share the show. So what have it, Peabody, thank you, Henry Peabody, thank you for coming on. So the question here is now, what are our views? What are we thinking as Liberians when we listen that Amin Modad is an asset to Liberia? Amin Modad is one of, if not one of the, I will not say the best, but he's one of the best that President Boyka appointed. More than some people who are already in the government right now. Amin Modad is one of the best. So just for the background, for those who are just joining, thank you for coming on, Aminu Moses, my nephew in Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. So when you listen to Amin Modad story, let's look at the Amin Modad story. Amin Modad is a businessman in Liberia. One side of the parent is a foreigner. Another side of the parent is a Liberian. All right. So Amin Modal, once upon a time, served as the party chairman for the Unity Party that President Boyka, currently in power, President Boyka is a member of. So Amin Modal, in the last party's election for party chairman, he was not successful. Some believe he did not get the support of President Boyka. And then so Reverend Luther Tapper won that election at the party convention. And so Amin Bodat gave up the position as party chairman. Now, let us not forget, Amin Bodat was very instrumental in saving our party from major challenges. One of the major challenges in the party was its party's headquarters rent payment. Amin Bodat was able to keep the party out of danger and allow the party to survive even when they were being put out of their initial party headquarters in Congo Town. So Amin Boda, Amin Boda is a very strong member of the Unity Party. So Amin Boda, not only that he supported the party, but Amin Boda remained committed to the party even when it came to the elections. He was, I'm hearing that he was very supportive of President Boyka's elections campaign. Don't forget that when President Boyka was running to be president, he was broke. Some people let us say that, oh, President Boyka is a millionaire or was a millionaire, having served in government for over 40 years and also served as vice president for Liberia for 12 years. President Boyka was broke. In fact, President Boyka is on record for telling us that he was living on loan from LBDR Bank. Living on loan from LBDR Bank. And in fact, when President Boyka left the vice presidential position, it took talk show hosts like Stanton Waterspoon, what the boy named Henry Costa then to raise money to give to President Boyka on a monthly basis. And those money that they gave him on a monthly basis was sustaining him. There were times President Boyka was in serious financial strait that these talk show hosts had to give him money also to help him out. All right. So President Boyka was trying it. And then even though he's having government for that length of time, that's why some of us did not believe in his leadership, because we feel that if he couldn't sustain himself on his own wealth and on his own income for serving for government for over 40 years on public income, not only that, but serving as president for over 12 years, and not only that, but retiring on public money as vice president, on public money, we felt that he was not managing his own resources properly. So some of us believe that he was not good to become president for Liberia. But that is besides the point. So Amin Boda has given President Boyka immense support over the years, right? And now President Boyka is president. Amin Boda become a President Boyka probably for Amin Boda contribution to him, say, oh, you know what, I will appoint this guy as commerce minister. So Amin Boda is appointed commerce minister, and I must admit he's been doing pretty well. Like President Boyka acknowledged in his letter that Amin has been doing pretty well. But at the same time, couple of weeks ago, Amin Boda, a couple of months ago, there's a company called Medtech. Medtech works at the National Port Authority. They do counter checking people's stuff when they are importing it to Liberia to make sure the things are correct or whatever that may be, or tracking system, whatever that will be. But Medtech, every one of us believed that Medtech, even President Boyka before he became president, the opposition believed that Medtech was a bogus company, and they had a good reason for saying that. Medtech was put together by politicians, people in the legislature, people in government at the time, who felt that Medtech could come and replace a company called BVAC. All right. And what happened with Medtech is that some politicians in Liberia joined with Medtech, some of them get caught in Medtech, charging Liberians exorbitantly and not remitting all of the money to the Liberian government. So government officials then got a cut. And those who are in the private sector too, hustling on Medtech, who brought in their own resources as well, having a cut. And so they're running this bogus company and exploiting Liberian people. And not only exploiting Liberian people, but because of the extra charges that they put at the port, that they place at the port on people who are trying to import things to Liberia, it increased even the local commodity price in the country. So a lot of people believe that it is not a good deal for Liberia. So President Boyka took office now, coming to power as president of the Republic of Liberia. We all thought that President Boyka would have, just get rid of Medtech. But in the process of debating Medtech in his new government, Amin Boda was one of those who wrote a letter, along with Double Jala from LRA, who wrote a letter to President Boyka advising President Boyka to keep Medtech. And Amin Moda is also on record for going to President Bouka to even argue for Medtech to remain. So those are the things that are holding against Amin Moda to begin with. So now, fast forward, Medtech going through all the scrutiny and whatever the case. Some people say they were just giving Medtech hard time because other new politicians coming into the legislature want to get a piece of the cut in Medtech, so that while they were technical on Medtech, so that they can kick other people also from those who are in we are government are in Medtech, they will kick them out. Then those who are in we are government, in President Bouaka's government now, all right, in the legislature and in the executive, will infuse himself into Medtech and start to get some other thing, dirty money as well. So let's fast forward now. So Amin Moda is in office. Medtech has gone through its ups and downs. The legislature has come and even removed the freeze that they have on Medtech bank account and other kind of thing. Medtech is being quote unquote partially supervised by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and that's where Amin Moda is. Now, Amin Moda's own argument is that Medtech brings business to Liberia, Medtech brings employment to Liberia, Medtech brings some income to Liberia, some what we refer to revenue to Liberia. So we don't already have a lot of companies, so the few we have, let us keep them. I guess that's Moda's own argument. So Moda, being the minister at the time for Commerce Ministry, has some access to some funding from Medtech that Medtech gives to Liberia. So he went to a Double Jala and said, look, listen, Double Jala, we need some vehicles for Ministry of Commerce, right? We need some vehicles for Ministry of Commerce. So whatever money Medtech has for Ministry of Commerce, for the government of Liberia, through Ministry of Commerce, make some of the money available to us, which of course the Supreme Court has lifted some of the restriction that they had on Medtech fundings. So now, since the fundings are available now, give us some of the money so we can buy vehicles for our office to make us functional. Primarily, people expected that the money will be used for operational vehicles, meaning people going in the field, people traveling to the counties and stuff like that. But then it backfires that whatever money that was spent to buy a vehicle, instead of buying maybe 4 or 5 vehicles for Ministry of Commerce and Industry, only one vehicle was purchased at over $100,000, 100,000 United States dollars. All right, so when the news broke and there was this noise in the public, Amin Moda came up and clarified and said, listen, I did not spend any money to buy any car. The car that was bought through money made available from the LRA, and the LRA made the money available through Medtech that has a contract with Liberia Ministry of Commerce and Industry to provide some proceeds that they generate from the port. So it is from that proceed that the LRA provided money, and this car you're talking about that cost over $100,000 was bought. And this car is bought for the government of Liberia. It is not bought in my own name. It is not bought for me. It is bought in the name of the Republic of Liberia, and it's for the Ministry of Commerce. But then people say, listen, there are policies in the book, there are rules in the book. Now, when government buying cars, they cannot buy cars over $45,000. Cannot buy cars over $45,000. So if you approve on a car being bought for over $100,000, which of course we later on found out, LRA boss Double Jala said it was for $96,000. The car was for $96,000. So if it is proven that the car was bought for then it is corruption. Because first of all, you can be pushing Medtech line and then you be benefiting from Medtech at the center. So it is like they're paying you for the advocacy you did for them. Then they're paying you for the advocacy you did for them. But Amin Moda is saying no. If I'm benefiting from Medtech because of the advocacy I did for them, then the car should have been for me personally. It's supposed to be in my name, but it's not in my name. It's for the government. So how can you say I'm benefiting from the government? So then bring me to the first question now. After we've been laying the foundation, they bring me to the first question. So is Amin Moda fully responsible for what happened? I would say no. And I would say no for a reason. So now I will hold Amin Moda responsible because I know him to be a very decent young man. I will hold him responsible for only one reason. I will say Amin Moda is responsible because I will feel he should have used his best judgment. And I fought Amin Moda for his indiscretion. Indiscretion means he did not make a sound decision. He did not make a sound decision as a leader. In his own interest, he could have said for his own interest, he could have said, listen, Even though this, I could take this car that is being bought for the government, even though I may have reason for which I may need this car, but I can't take it now because of how Liberia politics runs. He could have said no. Right? He could have said no. But he took it so well, then it also forced him. But let me tell you why I blame President Boyka. First of all, we shouldn't be talking medtech at all. First of all, we shouldn't be talking medtech in Liberia at all. Because President Boyka and others in Liberia agreed that medtech was a bad deal for Liberia. medtech was a bad deal for Liberia. So if medtech is a bad deal for Liberia, medtech is a bad company for Liberia, why do we allow medtech to even be playing in the politics of Liberia? Welcome, Anna. Why is medtech even playing the politics of Liberia? And when all the noise were coming up about medtech, why did President Boyka did not take a strong decision on medtech across his ministry or across his cabinet? He could have said in a cabinet meeting, listen, medtech is a bad deal for Liberia. The legislature is evaluating medtech. Until medtech deal is properly settled, or whatever the case is, we cannot do business with medtech. He could have said it to his ministers. All right. Now that's what President Boyka has been very slow, and I'll give you other reasons why. What I think is very slow on so many things that are causing him and ministers a problem. President Boyka is very slow. So they didn't go for the yellow machine. They didn't go for the 300 buses. They didn't go for the asset declaration. When you are slow as a leader, it has consequences. When you are slow in making effective decisions as a leader, it has consequences. And now innocent people or people who should not be impacted negatively by your bad and slow decision get infected, they get affected by your bad decision or your poor decision-making process. Another thing I want to say here is that the second thing about that is that President Boyka said that the whole issue about Amin Moida, he said it's insensitive, and I want to press on that word insensitive. What does President Boyka mean that for Amin Moida to even say accept $96,000 car is insensitive? It doesn't make no sense to me, and let me tell you why it doesn't make no sense to me. President Boyka himself is buying a vehicle for himself and his vice president that costs $1.1 million for a poor country like Liberia. Poor country like Liberia. President Boyka, who nobody running behind him, he's driving from their mansion to rehab every single day to go to work and go home. Why would he need a bulletproof vehicle costing $1.1 million for his vice president? Why would they need that? Who in Liberia hunting them? Who in Liberia hunting them? This very people that voted into office, that they didn't want hunting you, But even if you needed that kind of value of a vehicle, why were you wanting now when Liberian people? You're talking about Amin Moida being insensitive by taking a car that worth $96,000. Then why will you be having a car that worth $1.1 million, President Boyka? So you see, the logic is not balanced there. You cannot be saying your minister is insensitive by taking $96,000 car, and you, on the other hand, buying car for $1.1 million. Doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make no sense. Thank you for coming on, Benedict. Thank you for coming on. Please share the show. And it doesn't make no sense. So I think President Boyka response to Amin Moida is unfair. It's hypocritical, so to speak. And the response does not make no sense to me. And in the same token, we are hearing that a lady called Lilia Pukuyu has just put a request into President Boyka to be Minister of Commerce. So the question that some of us are asking, she even wait for the main letter of resignation to even land who in the president for the president to respond to it. She already asking the president to make a commerce minister. The question here is that does that sound feature? Is there something behind that? Could this be some of the factor for which maybe Amin Moida was set up to get him out of the job so that this job can be passed on to somebody else that President Boyka has interest in, or that somebody in the government has interest in? Was Amin Moida set up? That's a big question. Because we're asking the question because Double Jala, the guy at the LRA who is responsible to collect revenue for Liberia, is involved in this entire process of this $96,000 vehicle purchase. So the question here is that why is it Double Jala is not also being prosecuted or also being pressured by the president to send his resignation? Why not? Somebody will say, well, Jabba Jara just collect the money. He's not the one responsible for implementing the funds. But yeah, this identical expenditure, he must have been in the know. He must have been in the know. And so let us make progress. And again, Amin Modal, I said it before, Amin Modal is not a procurement officer. Amin Modal is not GSA, which is responsible to buy vehicles for government officials. Amin Modal is not the head of his procurement department. Amin Modal, Amin Modal is not the head of the PPCC. Amin Modal is not the one who goes to the store and buy a car and put it in his own name. I think they should have handled this differently if the president had a lot of skills and had a lot of interest in this young man who was doing extremely well for his government. But instead, well, he allowed the man to slide. He allowed the man to get fired on the account that he feels maybe he's interested in this lady. Maybe he's interested in this lady who put a bid in, and to be to take over Amin Modal's position. All right. Maybe he knows this lady. All right. So top Liberian entrepreneur Lilia Bukuyu appeals for Commerce Minister post in letter to President Boyka. You think the lady will just get and just read President Boyka letter if she doesn't know she and President Boyka been having this conversation? I strongly believe she knows she and President Boyka may have had this conversation. And so could it be that there were politics behind the scene to get Amin Modal set up to damage the young man's reputation and throw him under the bus? Politicians in Liberia, how many politicians in Liberia we don't know that have fancy cars? How many politicians? In fact, if you look at those who have fancy cars and you compare them to Amin Modal, Modal got more reason to be in that particular type of car as compared to other ministers within government. If you look at some factors affecting Amin Modal. But I leave that. That's history. That's a water under the bridge. So yeah, so this whole thing sounds very funny to me. I think President Boyka is not showing correct leadership. And I think because he's not showing leadership, he's hurting his own team. And this is not the first, and this is not going to be the last leader in President Boyka's administration that's going to get affected by his bad leadership. All right. And I say this because it takes me to the next point. The next point is the DEA officer in charge also put in his resignation. And it goes back to the same leadership issue we're talking about. So the DEA, the LDEA, Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, about 4 months back. In fact, let me start from order. Let me give good history so people who follow the show can understand why this is important. So President Boyka, when he took over power, one of the things that he campaigned against strongly was the issue of drugs in Liberia. The issue of drugs in Liberia. And President Boyka and the opposition cried on George Manneh Weah, former President George Manneh Weah, that there was this thing in the country called Kuch. Kuch were killing people. A lot of our young people were on drugs. And, struggling from drugs. Even Senator Darius Dillon campaign on the same drug issue. A lot of our young people are suffering from serious drug problems. It's crippling our youth. It's causing major damage to our youth. So President Boyka took power. He says drug is national emergency. Drug is national emergency. Not only that, he said that drug is national security threat to the country. So he made drug a number one priority, one of the number one priority for his government. So now, so President Boyka now is in power, he's in office. And while he's in office, thank you, Jacob. Jacob just posted something. He said Amin Modal is responsible for leaving. Let me make your post visible. I'd like to give those who are following the show, I'd like to give them audience because you took your time to come on the show. Jacob, let me put your view up. All right, so Jacob says this. It's a bit long, but I'll see if I can read part of it. He said Amin Modal is responsible for leaving the minister position. He firstly backed the rice importers for increasing the prices. He backed Medtech and later took money from them to purchase $96,000 car. He started doing things without consultation. It was too early to start doing that. You can't blame President Boyka for taking any decisions against Chairman Amin Modal. Let me tell you, Jacob, let me tell you why leaders take responsibility for things like this. Now, you are citing some issues about Amin Modad that you, according to you, that he cannot be held responsible for because he did some things that the president did not give him the authority to do, and not only that, he promoted what the name again? Medtech. He promoted Medtech, and I talked about that already. But the point here is this, son. When you are a leader, when you are a leader of a country, when you are a supervisor of a team, you give direction to the team. The team do not give direction to you. And the reason why President Bouacar is going to have a lot of problem with his minister, because President Bouacar lacks leadership. He is not able to provide supervision for his cabinet. And that is the major problem in Liberia right now. And mark this, Jacob, mark this down. You come back to tell me later on in the future. President Bouacar will lose even more ministers if he cannot provide vision and direction for his ministers. He will lose more ministers. And I will end on there and go to the next point. So let's go to the LDA. So he made drug a primary issue for Liberia, a national emergency, a security threat. So listen, follow me carefully. The same thing I'm talking to Jacob right now. Director General Abraham Krumah, the Director General of the LDA, Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, is in confusion with Hassan Fatika and his other deputy for administration, deputy for operation, deputy for administration. They're going back and forth. The president is in the know of the tension within the LDA. The president is aware of the rift in the LDA. The president is head of the government. There is rift. There is tension in his cabinet. He's seen his cabinet members going back and forth on social media. He's hearing information about them going back and forth, and people are saying the president is intervening, or the president have called him to talk to them. But how can you say you are the president of the Republic of Liberia, and you appointed people to office, and they're having misunderstanding, and they're having confusion amongst themselves, and you tell me, ordinary citizen, ordinary Liberian, that I call my employees, and I talk to them, and I said they should do what is best for the Liberian people. They should stop the noise and stop the fighting and stop the internal wrangling and do the job I've employed them to do. And I am your manager. I come and I gave you that responsibility and I gave you that instruction. You will have to follow my instruction. If the guys do not follow the instruction, it means that President Bouacar either did not give the instruction, or he relied on someone to give the instruction for him, or they do not respect him. And if either of the three exist, then there's not leadership there from President Bouacar. So President Bouacar kept quiet until these three top leaders of the LDA that's supposed to be, quote unquote, according to President Bouacar, operating in an institution that is the president number one priority as a national emergency, a national security issue. And then there's tension amongst them, and the president can put it under control to the point where the guys have to pull weapons on each other and use and discharge tear gas in the office. It tells you that the president does not have control over his cabinet. The president does not have control over his employees. He is the most principal supervisor, most principal manager of the entire government. The president has the constitutional mandate to appoint and dismiss at his will and pleasure. That's why he holds the Constitution is his reliance. So who can tell me in Liberia that when the president tells you don't do this, you're going to do it? When the president tells you stop this, you say no, I can't stop it. It is either the president did not take leadership in the LDA, or he left it to somebody to do for him, and the president did not do a good job, or the president said something to them about, gentlemen, you straighten yourself up and do what you're supposed to do, and they didn't pay attention. If any three of these things happen, then the president did not show leadership. President did not show leadership. And that's the same thing that affected Amin Modad. President, again, did not show leadership in the Medtech issue. The president did not show leadership in managing his own leaders, his members of his cabinet. And more people are going to get affected. So now let me tell you more again about leadership, the leadership gap in President Bouacar's presidency. Now, so President Bouacar says that the LDA is implementing a national emergency. The LDA is implementing a national security operation, right? That is threatening our young people, and our young people is our future. And our young people, if our young people are damaged, then the country becomes damaged as well. So if President Barker is ready providing leadership, let me ask you this question. Those of you who are listening, please share the show. Why is it that the budget for the LDA is so small, insignificant, to show that anything serious can happen at the LDA? And Christopher Peters, the ORC who just resigned, said the same thing in his resignation letter. Why is the budget so small? Why? Second question I want to ask, even though the budget was already small, why when they recast the budget, they also cut it down significantly? They cut the LDA budget down. Why is it budget down? Why is the budget so small? Why did they increase the budget? Why are they giving 2.3 million to unexplained miscellaneous for in and off budget expenditure? They're not even in the budget, but they cannot even give substantial amount of money to fight drugs in Liberia. Why? Why is that a serious human capacity gap in the LDA? If LDA is implementing a national emergency, a national security threat emergency operation happening in the country with our young people and drugs, then why did the president suspend 3 of the most senior officials of the LDA and put an acting officer in charge, and did not give the acting officers in charge equivalent support, administrative support, to do his job? Why? So you took 3 men job and give it to 1 man and expect the 1 man to do the job that 3 men supposed to be doing. The 1 man supposed to do the technical job of the DA boss himself, Director General. The young man supposed to do the job of the deputy for operation. The young man supposed to do the job for the deputy for administration. Even if somebody acting in his honor him, they are not the proper. And he himself, he's not the proper. He's acting, not even acting director, he's acting officer in charge. So he doesn't have the latitude. So why would President Barker allow this young man to run the LDA that is that operating a national emergency operation, that operating a national security operation? Why would he allow young men to carry the LDA on his shoulders as acting officer in charge with such huge administrative gap in the leadership of the LDA? So he set the man up for failure. And not only that he allowed this guy to do this, he allowed this guy to do it for 4 months. 4 months, going to 5 months. Again, it goes back to decision making from the president. Poor decision making from the president. He cost this guy his job. And then in his letter, in response to the guy started eating. The guy said, listen, he said the DA has institutional problem. He says the DA has financial problem. He says the DA has logistical problem. He said the DA has human resource problem. Why did President let all the responsibility, all the burden on this young man to carry on a job that is poorly facilitated, poorly supported, and then the young man had to resign from the position? So maybe let's say he resigned because of what happened at the CDC headquarters, where they went and obtained a bogus or a fake or a false search and seizure warrant from Newtown Magisterial Court to go and execute the warrant and cause serious problem at the CDC headquarters. Let's say maybe that what the pressure him to resign for. How can you even blame this man? Looking at the level of work that this guy had to do, how much oversight can 1 man provide over the entire LDA that is short on administrative staff, short on human resource, short on operational staff, short on logistics, short on financial support? President Barker, that's not leadership. So you will continue to lose. You will continue to lose qualified Liberians because of bad decisions that you are taking. Either your decision is bad because not because you took it, but you didn't take it at all. A no decision for a top level, presidential level, a no decision is a decision all by itself. A no decision is a decision all by itself. Just by not taking action, it's an action by itself. So you endanger these young and professional guys. You put them in a situation where Moali will say, you put them in a situation where they can't handle. Situation they can't handle. And now they're losing their job, and then you write the man back and say, oh, thank you for your work. You did a good job. I wish you well in your next joining. What next joining? You hurt this man's career. You hurt this man's career. You had this man career because they took you 4 months. You did not even take any decision concerning this young man having the support he needed to do his job. And the young man had to resign. How many people will resign because of your bad decision, Mr. President? How many people? Or if you're not the one taking the decision, then who's taking it for you? Who's stopping you? Who's holding you back? All right. And so I think I want to say things in appreciation to Amin Modat. I want to say things in appreciation to Christopher Peters for their service to country, and as they go in their personal venture or whatever else they put their hands to do, may they be successful in what they do. I wish you all well. And I would say this, I have my own principle, right? Like I said, if I'm Amin Modat, I wouldn't have taken that car looking at the condition of Liberian people. But President Barker is not in the position to say something about Amin Modat insensitivity when he himself is insensitive to the Liberian people's plight. He owning a car for $1.5 million. Then he talking to a minister who get $96,000 car, and who the minister that car way more good reasons to be riding that car. If you go back to some of the things I don't want to say here, all right. So let's go to our third point for today. Our third talking point today. Our third talking point for the day. Our third talking point today talks about President Boakar's Executive Order 136. And President Boakar Executive Order 136 talks about National Rail Authority. President Weah passed this also, I think, somewhere in 2022, I think, October. And then it's been sitting there, cool. And then President Boakar just brought this up again and bring it back on the table. So what this National Rail Authority Executive Order 136 supposed to do is to give Liberia an opportunity to rethink on how we utilize railroads in Liberia. All right, how we utilize railroad in Liberia. But yes, man, take on this whole railroad thing, right? Yes, man, take on this whole railroad thing. On this National Rail Authority. So there's so many things happening when this executive order comes up. So many things happening Liberian people need to be aware of. Don't forget, one of the things that former President George Weah and his finance minister, how you call it, Samuel Tuer, former finance minister Samuel Tuer, the investment commission during the former President Weah's administration was struggling with is the issue that had to do with ArcelorMittal, right? So ArcelorMittal has the right currently to the tracks that run from Upper Nima, all the way Upper Nima down there, straight to Free Zone, all right, to Free Zone, to the Freeport of Monrovia and the Free Zone area there. So they're operating that rail, all right. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're also operating the rail going towards Buchanan as well, all right. So now this is the concern. The concern here is that when ArcelorMittal did this deal with Liberia, that they're operating on in Liberia right now, the government gave them exclusive right. Exclusive right means they have the full authority to operate their tracks. All right, their tracks. And if anyone else is supposed to use that track, they have to give the go ahead for someone to use that track, right? That train track. So is it a good thing that we can have a multi-user track? Multi-user track means use it for more than one purpose. So maybe ArcelorMittal using it to haul iron ore, or maybe we can have other commercial trains that are running on that same track for passengers to come to Monrovia and go back wherever the train track is passing. Can use that route to drop people off as another source of transportation. So the way you get people can fly by air, people can go by boat, people can go by road. At least some people will be able to go by train, which of course will be very good for Liberia. Very good for Liberia. Let me tell you this: it will be very good for Liberia for us to have trains that can carry people from Upper Nima running through all our different counties, Bombing, Margibi, all of them coming down, Monserrato, and coming down through all the way to Monrovia. That would be very helpful for business, especially for business people, right? Because we don't have that much roads in Liberia. But this is the point, right? So ArcelorMittal has the right to use that exclusive right. So the government under President thank you for coming, William Mulu. The government under President, we are trying to negotiate so ArcelorMittal can give up that right so that that track can be shared. And one of the reasons why government Liberia was strongly in conversation with ArcelorMittal is because of high power, they call them HPX. HPX. So HPX, an American company, was interested in going into Liberia. And the interest is that even though they operate in Guinea, HPX, HPX operate in Guinea, right? And the thing about HPX is that while HPX is operating in Guinea, they're also building a railroad. They're building the same railroad, talking about the building the Liberian railroad. The same railroad they're building, they want to use in Liberia. They're building one in Guinea now as we speak. They're building one in Guinea. I think they almost finished with all the building. They're building one in Guinea. And what the problem HPX is having is that the railroad that they operating in Guinea is very far from where they're mining the ore in Guinea. And because it's very far from where they're mining the ore in Guinea, they want an alternative. They want an alternative. So the alternative, yeah, now, thank you for coming on. All right. So the alternative now, the one is that from the alternative, the one is that from Liberia, from Guinea, where the money near Nima there, the money right over Nima, right around the Nima area in Guinea. From where they're mining, if they took Liberia side, they can come to Liberia Freeport in a very short distance compared to going way or to Guinea, to the port in Guinea. So the point there is that when HPS get that opportunity, what it's going to do for them is that it's going to cut down their cost. All right, it's going to cut down their cost. So that high power exploration, HPX, is going to cut down the cost. So when you cut down the cost, then it means that the money they'll be taking to invest into what they're doing in Guinea, that responsibility will come down. It will drop small on them. So that why they're pushing. So HPX has been pushing so the Liberia to have contract with Liberia to use that same railroad. And ArcelorMittal is saying no, because ArcelorMittal didn't want any competition on that rail. So now this is my point, right? My question here is that why it is profitable that railroad can be shared. But if you look at other developed countries, if Google, go to Ghana, go to Ghana here, go to Ghana. The railroad that people are using now in developed countries or in other African countries around us, and in Europe and other places in America, the railroad that people are using, not that kind of one single poor me railroad guy in Liberia. They are sophisticated railroads. And not just that one lane, like Liberian railroad, that one lane, it just coming straight. When one coming, the other one can come to it. You gotta reach before the other one start coming. So it's not like that. So I'm not sure what we're thinking as Liberians to be arguing over one railroad that when one person coming, the other person can come, the other person finish passing and reach the where they're going. Why would you be arguing on that with HPX? HPX is a billionaire company. HPX is a multi-billion-dollar company. We can tell HPS if you're interested in building, in doing rail operation in Liberia, build your own rail. Build it adjacent the same track that is coming with ArcelorMittal. Build it on the same in the same queue with ArcelorMittal. All right, build it in the same queue. So in other words, you can get two rails running side by side. And then I agree. The Barker administration, like the George Weah administration, were trying to do, they can go and discuss with ArcelorMittal and HP and say, listen, we don't want to give our railroad in our country to companies to own exclusively. We want to have a deal where we ourselves can use it if we want to use it. So if we have two railroads running side by side, now it becomes an ideal situation to have a public transport on it, because we mean one for convenience now. One track coming, one track going. In other words, traffic can be coming, traffic can be going. And when you know traffic coming and traffic going, then you know how to apportion the movement of the traffic so that one person is not deterred for the other. In other words, ArcelorMittal cannot lose time on something they want to do because HPS on a train on the track coming. So HPS train got to reach certain place where to get ArcelorMittal chance to use the track to. No. That's one of the things ArcelorMittal looking at. Okay, between this place to this place, that only one piece of track coming there. If my train won't go and after the HPS train coming, then the two train can pass on that road at the same time, on that track at the same time. So one person gotta wait for the friend to pass. Then somebody business time. Time is money. Time is money. So why are we arguing about Exeter Metal one track when we can have HPX build their own track? Even if it means to say for convenience, build a side by side with enough space that there will be no collision or no collision, but side by side in the same direction. All right, and so it baffles me. So I want to see Liberia. People should start to think big, think big. You want to build tracks for train, for commercial train transport in Liberia? Then build a solid, build a modern train track for Liberia. Build a modern train track for Liberia. Don't waste our time arguing over one piece of train track for no good reason. All right. William Wulu said something, and I want to, like I said, I gave everybody on this platform a say. William Wulu, let me put what you got and put it on so they can see you across our platform. Wulu said the Liberian civil rights movement official spokesperson is following. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Good to hear that. So what are we talking about? Why are we fussing about one train track when we can have more than one train track in Liberia? That's what I'm saying. So executive order 136 is a good thing for Liberia, and I hope and pray as we develop the different regulations and policies, even laws around the executive order national rail that established the national rail authority. We'll think beyond that one track that everybody talking about and arguing about. Okay, Liberia should think big. Think big. We want that idea when Exeter Metal train come here, let HPS train wait on the Exeter Metal train pass. And business is money, and nobody want to do business in Liberia where the train will pass for 3 hours a whole day because somebody else train is about to be coming on the same track. No. If HPS wants to use a track, I know it's advantageous for them to use the existing track, but no, if they're so serious about it, HPS can build their own tracks. And now we have double tracks instead of one. And now it becomes an alternative route for commercial and for business purpose. Nobody gonna be stuck anywhere. You can you can use the alternative who coming, who going. And we can do that. I even build more if we can across the country. From north to south, from east to west. And one from Monrovia, and going all the way to Buchanan Port, which of course any county between Monrovia and Buchanan Port can benefit from the train along the coast. At the same time, we got one coming from Nima all the way to Freeport, Monrovia, and also going to how you call it, to Grand Bassa County, from Nima to Grand Bassa County, from Bon Mines to Monrovia, from Bon Mines to Grand Bassa County as well. So let us think big, man. People, let us think big. William Wulu says something I want to highlight again. William Wulu, thank you for your participation. He says here, you are right, man. You are right, brother. Yeah, we need to think big. We're thinking on one track. HPI won't use it. No, Asala Meta fighting way. No. Let's move beyond that, man. Go to Ghana. Go see Ghana. Ghana just released a modern commercial train. The first class, you can even sleep inside. You can lay back and sleep just in airplane. Beautiful modern even airplane first class. Go Great Ghana. They just introduced that. Then we're talking about old train track that been there saying nothing woo. Liberians say nothing woo. We need to think big, Liberians. We need to think big. So yeah, that's my take on that whole thing, and I hope the guys who will be coming over that national rail stuff that's going to be taken over will do something about that. All right. So yeah, let's move on to our next topic because of time. This next topic is very interesting. Elon Musk's satellite Starlink Liberia. Elon Musk's Starlink Liberia. When President Bogan when they showed that picture of President Bogan flexing with Elon Musk's phone call, that was not small funny Liberia. I won't play the laugh. We're all laughing about it. But it is. We're hearing now that they have struck a deal where they've given a license. All right. They say according to LTA, Patrick Honda, then they said they gave them what they call provisional license agreement. Provisional license agreement. But here's my take. Somebody asked me about this also. They said, Dad, what do you think about this whole thing? Now, here's my take. I did a whole article on this as well. And my take on this whole thing about the Elon Musk's Starlink 1 year provisional licensing, there are a couple of things that must concern us. So the guys, Elon Musk's Starlink is also in Ghana, it's in Nigeria. Now, Ghana and Nigeria, they are all having problem with this thing. And let me tell you the problem, and I will explain to you. Now, the problem that they're having with this, I'm not sure whether our people want to even investigate this thing. I'm not sure whether our people want to, already started this thing, the background, risk analysis, economic impact analysis, and all that kind of thing. I'm not sure it was done, because when I read from Patrick Honda posted something on his Facebook page he calls Q&A, question and answer, about this whole Elon Musk Starlink issue. And one of the things I pick up from his stuff is that he says they gave Elon Musk this provisional license agreement. They gave it to them to operate for 1 year in Liberia. But here's the thing, right? He said they gave them the license to operate for 1 year in Liberia. But this is the point. Then he says further down, he said, how does this impact existing providers like Lone Star, MTN, and Orange? They also do communication service. They also do internet. They provide internet service. So this is the thing, right? Starlink is a sophisticated satellite provision of telecommunication service, including internet service, right? The point here is this is a complicated thing, right? Before you strike deals like this, you must already have done an impact assessment. As a country, do an impact assessment, meaning that Patrick Honda asked, he said, how would this affect provider like Lone Star, Orange, or any other company that providing internet service in Liberia? How is it going to impact them? This is how it's going to impact them, right? If Starlink comes up, and let's say it's a Firestone, ArcelorMittal, and other big companies in Liberia who probably are the big, why should I say, are the big customers to Lone Star or to Orange, right? Or major NGOs or UN or big private organization that get the money that can afford Starlink. When they all switch to Starlink, because Starlink has a more reliable and better service because it's satellite based, it's not cable based. So when they all switch to Starlink, what happens to Lone Star? What happens to Secom? Not Secom, but Orange. What happens to them? What happened to other internet providers? I can remember when I was in Liberia at one point in time, we were using one internet provider. It was not Secom, it was not Lone Star, it was another company that was just only doing internet service. Just internet service that we had in our office. So what happened to these small businesses? What happened to the business already in Liberia? Then Patrick Honda answered that question by saying, why Starlink is operating, then they will do the assessment and see how it impacts the local providers. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. The thing here is that when you have your local providers already operating the country, your first and foremost responsibility is to ensure their protection from competition, from what they call unfair competition. In the United States, where we are right now, right? When you have companies that are having similar services, and one company have advantage over the other, to the extent where they start to unfairly dominate the other people, the Congress come in and they post stop to them and say, no. You have an unfair advantage here right now. We want you to step back and cut down on some of the things you're doing. So then what happened now to, do we have those kind of laws? Do we have that kind of check and balance that will say, okay, now the guy kind of Starlink in Ghana, in Nigeria, it's a big problem there. Because let's say, for instance, this guy equipment, the one-time equipment, the one that guy say, we just say decoder. Maybe you just take you buy the decoder is about $600. So since I get money now, if I go Liberia right now, I will buy a decoder, I put it in my house, $600. Then I pay a flat rate. Usually they will be around either $65 US or between $50 to $65 US for a flat rate every month, right? So I can afford it. So I buy the one-time decoder, the receiver, I would call it receiver, for $600. I put it in my house or in my office, whether it could be Firestone, it could be ArcelorMittal, it could be Bear Mountain, it could be any other major company. Buy the receivers to put it in the areas, right? And then they paying the flat rate. What happened to Cellcom? What happened to the Orange? I mean, what happened to Orange? What happened to Lone Star? MTN? They will go out of business because that's where people get that that's where they really get their money from. That's where they really get their money from. Sometimes we think that the companies didn't get the money from. Maybe we think that the company get the money from our $1 data we put in our phone to browse the internet, or our $5 data. No, the bulk of the majority of the money in these Orange and Lone Star, they get it from big institutions like UN agencies, and they get it from other international agencies in Liberia, international NGOs in Liberia. They get it from government offices that are using their internet services and things like that. They get it from Firestone internet, maybe those Lebanese guys who making big business across the country. So you think the Ghanaian will see a better quality service that they can use and communicate with their family member abroad? They will say no network down, no network going on. Banks and things like that. Waiting, they will go for the Starlink. When they go for the Starlink, what happens to all the other businesses in Liberia? What happened to Cellcom? Now, the average effect on Liberia is that when Cellcom, when I know I was in Liberia when Cellcom was there and they changed to Orange. That's why I just keep saying Cellcom. When Orange or when Lone Star can no longer make the kind of money they make, profit they're making from the services, they will have to downsize the employees. They will have to downsize the employees. Now, what even make it worse for Liberia is this: Elon Musk does not need to have an office in Liberia or big facility like Cellcom, like Orange or like Lone Star. He don't need that big facility. The main program is a satellite-based program. Even I was sitting here, if I purchase a component of Elon Musk's program and I want to sell it in Liberia, Starlink, I want to be a sub-renter for him, and then I rent to Liberians. If I want to do that, I can put his whole equipment that will be using to sell Liberia. I can put the whole thing in a van. Yeah, you see the guy or ambulance van. I can set it up in an ambulance van and drive it in my yard or drive it wherever I want to go. And then I serve anybody who wants to receive internet service through my program will receive internet service from me while I'm driving through my mobile van. How many people will I employ now in a mobile van? How many people will I employ? So Elon must be able to employ a lot of Liberians, and like Cellcom is Lone Star is employing. Is Elon Musk able to employ a lot of Liberians like MTN is employing, or like Orange is employing? No. Elon Musk he does not even need to open office in Liberia, whether for technical support or for business support. He doesn't need to open anything in Liberia. Somebody said, okay, now you finish telling us, you finish making us scared with the analysis. What is the solution? So what would be the possible solution? The possible solution would have been to make Elon Musk operate through existing providers in the country. All right, Elon Musk, we know we really want their service, but looking at how things are already laid out in our country, we don't want to put our Lone Star Cell out of business. We don't want to put Orange out of business. And there's no competition for you. You are the richest man in the world. There's no competition for you. Your instrument that you're using to provide services is hanging in the air. Over 6,000 satellites hanging in the air, hovering over the world, providing internet service. You can carry anybody that will go work for you. You can carry anybody that will go work for you. Even if you want open office in Liberia, just be one smaller space. One of a put just come there and buy your receiver and go like the DSTV looking. Like DSTV. So what are we talking here? Why are people celebrating the thing? So the good part about this whole thing now is the fact that, yeah, if you can afford it, you can be anywhere in Liberia. The remotest part in Liberia, the NGOs then can have access to go among when I work in Liberia, NGOs all over the country. In Lofa, or in the butchers, they get offices and things there. Or in Maryland, in Sando, we have offices all over the place in all the butchers. Also, yes, if the NGO buy Elon Musk Starlink, then there will be no internet problem for any NGO all over the country. The remote villages, you can get signal there, carry a receiver there. You will get signal. That's a good thing. But how is this a good thing for our local businesses, like Lone Star and for Orange. If we are not careful, we're going to put Lone Star out of business. We're going to put, how you call it, Orange out of business. For me to close on this, let me say this, right? To close on, let me say this. You see, Patrick Honda said in his post, he said, listen, he said this, he said, can Liberian afford this? Oh yeah, that's one of the big questions in Ghana and Nigeria as we speak. It's not easy to afford it. It's not affordable for ordinary Liberians. So they already big shot in Liberia, the senator, the representative, the ministers, the president, they don't want to afford it. They are the best people that can afford it. Because I've already talked about UN, big businesses, the Firestone, I'm talking about ordinary Liberians, the ordinary Liberian man who is unable to make 125 every month or 200 every month can't afford it because first of all, the receiver alone at 600 and change. Maybe if you're lucky, you get it for 500 and change or 400 and change if you want to be. If he now wants to be on sympathetic to Liberians, give it to you for cheap, or me give it for $300. But how many Liberians can buy a receiver for $300? Ordinary Liberians. Of course, Darius DeLong can afford it. Darius DeLong can afford it. Young Lincoln can afford it. So all the beach I can get bigger. All the beach, Patrick Honda can't afford it. Patrick Honda using $3,000 to buy gas for a car. So he can buy receiver that costs $600. He can buy it, he can afford it. If the man putting $2,000 gasoline in your generator to your house, of course he can afford $65 US every month for flat rate for Elon Musk or Starlink. So I'm not talking about the big people in government. The rich people will enjoy everything they got there that they're enjoying right now. The poor people cannot afford it. But why? This is why it's important. I want you to listen to me carefully. This is why it's important. Even though the rich people can afford it, the big businesses and hospitals and clinics and big schools can afford it. I'm talking about universities and then get money can afford it and provide their students state-of-the-art or laboratory, other kind of thing. It can happen, right? For affordable flat rate, it can happen. But this is the point. When Lone Star sell MTN cannot make the kind of money they're supposed to make, they probably might run out of business and they may fire some people. When Orange cannot make the kind of money they're already making from the internet and other kind of thing, they will run out of business and they may end up firing some people. So if Lone Star sale gets affected too bad and Orange gets affected too bad, two things can happen. They can either carry the price up to compete with Elon Musk, or they have to carry the price way down. They can carry up because they carry out, then who will go there against it? So maybe they want to carry weight now, but they carry down. They can't afford it because they got to pay for the service they're even providing. It's a difficult thing to say. They will not be, so if they can, I'm just trying to say something. So when Celcom or when Orange or Lone Star start to face problem and they running out of business, who will run out of internet? The common people. Who will run out of internet? The ordinary people. Meanwhile, our rich people in the country, all of them who declare the asset, all of them millionaire and still millionaire now, they won't have problem. They will enjoy. They will keep enjoying. So that's my take on this whole issue. And then for Patrick Honda to say to me in his post that will this have impact on our local businesses provided like Lone Star or Orange? That what we get in 1 year. That what we make the lesson for 1 year. So now when the 1 year we use the 1 year to evaluate, that is another bad example for a false start. When you hear us talking about President Barack government having false start, it means they don't think things through carefully. They don't think it through carefully before they can just jump inside. And just how they jump inside, I had a mistake, and then they got to jump back. And I will give you an example. The asset declaration situation, when they were making a kind of funny appointment to that position, we said, no, not how it's supposed to be. It got to be technical people who don't have any political linkage. So there can't be any say wish one other kind of thing. And no, they didn't listen. They jump in with asset declaration that it going limbo. The same thing go for the 285 yellow machine. Oh no, yellow machine go for Liberia, but the way you're trying to get it on the correct way, you go back and you do it properly. They say no, that the rescue government. Your haters, you ain't like the country. You ain't like the country. Your haters. And at the end of the day, they draw by again with a 285 yellow machine. Okay? Then they go back again on another one. They come with a 300 buses from Ghana. Jump inside again. We say, no, not how it's supposed to be. You investigate the boss get the other problem. They get up and say, oh, your haters. You ain't let Liberia, love Liberia, thing up. Again, when they go in front again, they throw it back. You ain't hear about bosses again. Every single, the thing about grading mud road. We said, no, you can't grade mud road when the rain comes. You keep the money and be doing it small as the other area spoil. You pay people to go face it. The other area spoil. You pay people to go keep the money to go to face good road and Jackson. No, they say, oh, we like the country 100 days, blah blah blah. Fiasco, they ate out of money here, then they wrote back. And now we getting reliable information that they spent all that money, that $22 million they spent all. They gave it to companies and they went back to the companies behind it and took money from the companies. That they gave it $22 million, they took money from them. They said to buy cars for themselves. Can you imagine that? So, we want to do leadership, and this it goes back again to President Barker. Then they put me say, I hate President Barker. I don't hate President Barker. Leadership comes from the president. At the level of the presidency, that's the highest level of leadership in the country. If the president don't provide direction, if the president do not provide leadership, people will do all kinds of things. And when they do it, and the people feel it, and the president draw him back, he know what happened. He act quiet, let nothing happen. And then when the people resign, then we lose good people because the president is saying that he's not providing leadership. The president should be the last man that things will pass by his desk. He got to sign on it and say, you know what I mean? I sign on it for it to happen because I know it's good for Liberian people. You shouldn't wait until it happens. Then you come and say, I'm an old-time friend. And then he lies. He said, I'm an old-time friend. Then when it backfire, you can't talk again. Just act quiet. You can do that. You cannot do that. And, you cannot do that. Yeah. Thank you. William Wudu says something I want to put on the screen. He says here, he said, where Liberia is healing, my people. My man, I lie to you, man. Liberia ain't healing. William, Liberia is not healing. Look, I think we are in a much more serious mess than we have been in for the last 18 years. We're in a much more serious mess. We don't have adequate leadership right now in Liberia. We do not have adequate leadership right now in Liberia. Okay, let me go to my last topic for tonight. Let us go to our last topic for tonight. But before I go to that last topic for tonight, I want to say you are listening to the Melting Pot. It's the Liberia Sustainable Development Think Tank, where we discuss the issues unfolding in Liberia, trending issues, and we provide opinions on those issues. And our opinions are meant to strengthen our country, not to bring it down. And if leaders are listening, we pray that they take actions on some of the things that we have to say so that our country can get better. That goes to our last point for tonight. And our last point for tonight has to do with the Verdier Brothers RWECC. The Verdier Brothers RWECC. You know Jerome Verdier, right? We all heard about Jerome Verdier before. Jerome Verdier served on the TRC, all right? The Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Liberia. He was the one that chaired the TRC. And he's the one that I must give him credit, including ourselves. We all have been advocating for this war and economic crimes court to be established. And I want to thank Jerome Verdier, thank you. But I think Jerome Verdier has been too political lately, that giving him this position to serve as executive director on the war and economic crime court will be a problem for Liberia. If you remember, Jerome Verdier was very vocal when it comes to the opposition against the former government of the President George Manneh Weah. And let me say this: this war economic crimes court thing is very delicate, and people will be thinking and say, "But my young brother, but Jerome Verdier, the man is a lawyer. The man is one of Liberia's renowned sons. The man has played a part. The man is a good guy. The man got a good record, and all that kind of thing." You say, I'm not arguing any of that. But the Verdier brothers, including Jerome and his brother Babu, Babu, on the other hand, participated on the LACC. He also served on the LACC. Is that a bad thing? No. But when he served on the LACC, what record did he leave at the LACC? What record did he? Was he political as well? What record did he leave at the LACC? And these are things, at the end of the day, the questions some of us are asking ourselves, and listen, let me be clear, let me be very clear. I'm not saying the Verdier brothers, any one of them, Jerome Verdier or Babu or Verdier, cannot be any of the councillors cannot be the executive director for the War Crimes Court in Liberia, for the establishment of the War Crimes Court in Liberia. I'm not saying they are not, I think they are good guys, right? But my concern has always been the same thing with Genital Massacre. You know, this thing is so sensitive, very, very sensitive. You don't want anybody coming there with any political or legal situation that will present any reason for somebody to question their integrity. You want to leave no reason for anybody to question their integrity. And the reason I say this is because at the end of the day, when you get to major prosecutorial exchanges, lawyers, international lawyers, some of the victims might even have the capacity to go hire international lawyers to come and defend them. When major high-profile international firms, like you saw when Alexander Cummings were charged by the CPP for fingering the framework document, he was carried the court, Liberian lawyer, they were there playing hanky-panky, jumping around. Solicitor General, what the guy name? I think if I got the name again, Solicitor General. Anybody remember Solicitor General name? What the guy name, man? CDC Solicitor General. What I mean? Other than what they're jumping around, say, oh, we're prosecuting. Coming to prosecute Alexander Cummings. Coming to prosecute Alexander Cummings. Serena Cephas, the Jackie no man. Serena Cephas, consider Serena Cephas. Running up and down. When you remember when Alexander Cummings went to England and took Tony Blair's wife organization, an organization that is responsible to do fact-checking research on legal issues and provide legal opinion on the issue. When Tony Blair's wife went and took that contract from Alexander Cummings and came to Liberia, that woman and her team entered Liberia. They tear that whole CPP case apart. They tear that whole CPP case apart when they published their opinion. What happened? Serena Cephas, CPP lawyer, everybody. The Liberian men said the Chile. Liberian men said the Chile. Everybody absconded. The case was dropped. So when we go into the war and economic crimes court, where some people who their life depend on that prosecution, where they go in there to represent life and death issue for somebody like men like Prince Johnson, it's a matter of life and death. That men like Prince Johnson, when they convict them, they go into jail for a lifetime, or maybe if that death penalty been in there, we're going to kill them for nothing. Because men like Prince Johnson, he guilty before he even get there. I gotta say, the man guilty before he even get there. So if Prince Johnson had the opportunity to tell lawyer, he get money, he probably might go for the best lawyers you can find. Now, when these lawyers go for the kind of high-profile prosecution, you don't want to leave any loophole where there can be political bias. And, one of the major things about the kind of criminal investigation and criminal prosecution cases is that when you hear the people say that thing has a political undertone, that whole case can mean that. When you hear somebody say that thing got political undertone, it means the whole case can mean that, which means the case is politically motivated. We already saw how politically involved Jerome Verdier has been in Liberian politics, accusing people of crimes that were committed in Liberia. They didn't have the facts to back it up. And the case went to court, and the court said, Jerome, you said so person was involved in this case, and they were responsible for the person's death. It is not time for them to bring the evidence so we can prosecute the person in court. Jerome Verdier going in coma. He can't come us out with any evidence. You go to major prosecution cases, people will go back to all the kind of things and impinge the credibility of the individuals on their past issues. On their past issues. I got credibility issue with this man. So I'm not saying Jerome Verdier will be the one prosecuting cases or representing people, whatever the cases, but we got to make sure that whoever going to get involved in this case to serve as executive director for the establishment of the War Crimes Court, who is in the foundational preparation stages of this whole court. And not only that, but who will be sitting down in the seat and say, I giving direction how the thing will be, how it will be established, how it will not be established, the roadmap will take, the roadmap will not take, how it will influence the policy that will guide, the policy that will not guide it. That whoever going there got to be someone with unimpeachable character. Not for political reason, or not for any legal bias or any political reason. You gotta be careful. We need to work in a way that at the end of the day, people should be able to look at our process and say, it is, even if there's flaw, and nothing is 100% perfect, but even if there's flaw, even if there's a flaw, you can say, at least it is not, a flaw that is significant enough to disrupt the entire outcome of the process. That's what we want. And I will say this again. I said the last time in our show, I almost reaching to our last meeting for the show to end. But I will say this again. I said this the other day. Listen, I am not aware, and I'm not seeing the vetting committee for the recruitment of the executive director that they said. I just heard a few days they put us on a statement and say, "Oh, we will be conducting an interview for the candidates." But the Liberian people really, proper announcement of the vacancy that were open for people to apply? Was that proper? Really transparent, open process, globally, internationally, for Liberians whom in the diaspora? Was there significant publication on the advertisement for those positions for people to apply? I didn't see it. I'm very interested in this case, but I didn't see it. Maybe I'm making a mistake. Maybe you're in Liberia, you saw all the announcement on air, all the kind of thing, but I didn't see it. All right. And another thing, what were the criteria that they were looking for the people who they want to vet in themselves? Did they publish the criteria for everybody, for Liberians to see it? We didn't see it. I didn't see it. Leave that alone. Let's go further. Was there any, or time frame where they said these are the applicants, and we want the public to review the applicant list and raise any concern you have about these names that we received to vet? I didn't see that as well. So when going for elections, right? When they're doing voters registration, and when the elections commission, when people give their name, and they can put the voter roll up, small can go look at it, say, look at it. If they get any issue with the list, you come. Even when we're recruiting for AFL or recruiting for national police and things, and they can put the list and thing up to say, yeah, go check on the list, because it's important. When you're recruiting for AFL, you're recruiting for national police, they can put the list, and yeah, go look at the list. And anybody got a problem with the list, yeah, please say something before the people go through the process and join the team before it gets too late. What are we doing, Liberia? I don't understand why the secrecy around the vetting committee, that they are not very public about what they're doing. Why? It was just recently I heard they said 5 people names were submitted, and now they decided on 5 names, and those 5 names are going to be listening to them, interviewing them, and they'll give their 3 names to President Boyka. We're doing this, Liberia. I'm not sure if it's too late, but I think they should be more public with what they are doing. They should be more public with what they are doing. All right, so let me try to wind down. Last but not the least, 2,000 Liberians failed drug test. 2,000 Liberians failed drug test when the Liberia Immigration Services were trying to recruit people to go serve. The Liberia Immigration Services is recruiting, right? They are recruiting. And with the recruiting that they are doing, they went and did drug tests for people. And to see who all will pass the drug test before they how you call this? They can go on a training camp to start training to get employed into the Liberia Immigration Services. 2,000 applicants failed mandatory drug tests. Now that tells us how serious our drug issue is in Liberia. But another thing that struck me besides this, I just wanted to lift this up so you can see what's going on in Liberia. But think about it. If 2,000 people, or let's say 5,000 people, or 6,000 people went to do application to join Liberia Immigration Services, but that just assume 5,000 people go, and 2,000 people fail drug tests. What about drug tests we're talking about? My goodness, that's worrisome. That tells you how serious the drug problem is in Liberia. So, in fact, first of all, remember now, It will not just be any kind of Zobo that will say I go and join legit, not legit, go and join Liberia immigration. Not just any kind of Zobo will say I go and join immigration. It has to be people who feel the correct, people who feel that they are responsible citizens, people who feel that they have some qualities and some values that they can go and be a part of the country, a legal workforce. Then to go find out 2,000 of those applicants failed drug tests, then drug is a major issue in Liberia. It's worrying, my people. It's very worrying. President Burka needs to take the drug business serious in Liberia. President Burka needs to take the drug business serious in Liberia. And don't forget again, right? So why will Liberia Immigration Services be hiring or recruiting this huge amount of people testing and things when they just been firing people lately because they said they were hired by CDC, by the CDC government? So are they trying to hire United Partisans as well? Is that a criteria? Is that one of the criteria? Is it possible those who they say failed drug tests are citizens, are supposed this is citizens? So then you start asking all the kind of funny questions because Liberian, how are we running the country? How are we running the country? You gain power, you dismissing EPS because you say that the link to George Weah. Then at the same time you're employing more EPS EPS officers. You get that you downsize national police and you bring in your new police officer. These are positions that people should be able to serve the country and not be afraid to lose their jobs. You go to immigration, LDA, rather you dismiss people from there, then you hire new people there. People suffering for nobody to do the job. You go to Liberia immigration services. You fire people from there. Now you testing whole 2,000 plus people it's worrisome. It's worrisome. Now, I just brought that up because it sounds funny. So maybe the next government that will take over, that will not be a United Party government, will go ahead and start firing all the new people that they're going to employ on Joseph Burka as well. What are we doing to our people? Politicians will come and go, but the people will remain. Politicians will come and go, but the people will remain. And if the people remain, what are we doing to our people? So every time we change government, we just come and remove people and bring new people there. Every time we change government, so our people will just, when elections come in and they start worrying that, when the other government moving there, our job not secure, then it means to say, then I'm calling on the national legislature to pass laws that protect civil servants from being dismissed because of political affiliation. I mean, we shouldn't just say in the law, but pass a real law that is clear, that says civil servants or government employees that are not politically appointed cannot be dismissed summarily because of political affiliation, religious connection. No, there has to be a clear-cut laws that protect people who work in our government. Somebody will say, but the law already there. How do I know the law already there when the law is not protecting people to begin with? If the law is not protecting people and they're already there, then there's no law. So the question here now is that we need to stop it. We need a law that will clearly stop people from just firing people when they feel like firing people, so we can have a stable civil service agency. People who will be on the job and not feel threatened on the job. So 2,000 people got disqualified because they tested positive for drugs, even though they want to join the Liberia Immigration Services. President Burka, there it goes. You are responsible for what happened in Liberia, and our people are depending on you for leadership. That's all the time we have on our on our show tonight. We want to say thank you for being there. God bless you. Have a good evening. Please lock your doors and lock your windows if you're in Liberia. Lock your doors and lock your windows. Make sure that you are safe in your house. Don't take anything for granted. Make sure that you are safe in your house. And God's willing, we will be back here again on Monday for another thought-provoking program, The Melting Pot. Thank you.